You know, the bomb was only supposed to have a blast radius of a few hundred meters. Now, a few meters is a very large blast zone to a measly human, but to such an entity, it was barely noticeable. The original plan was that the deep one would eat the reverse hydrophone, thinking it was prey, which was attached to the bomb, and that bomb would explode very close to the head, instantly destroying the creature's brains. But this gulper eel creature was long as hell, 12 miles long, and this tiny bomb was nothing more than a firecracker that was equivalent to a paper cut. Kyle broke the silence by hiccuping. Oh man, we are so fucked, aren't we? To our knowledge, the creature, which I named the Gulper, hadn't seen us yet. The whole deck exploded into a panic because we were directly in the line of the Gulper eel's sight, and it could come and eat our sorry asses at any given time, which was any time. Trying not to make too much of a commotion, we slowly backed the boat up, and we went in the opposite direction of home, because that was where the Gulper was at. Once we couldn't see the Gulper anymore, we drove and got the hell out of there. Since the Gulper was blocking our path back home, and since going around it was too risky, we decided to go ahead and go the other direction, where no form of civilization was located for hundreds of miles along the barren coastline. About an hour later, we thought we were well away from the Gulper, so we let our guard down. That was until I spotted an enormous shadow a mile away from us. When the realization dawned upon me, my heart dropped deep into my stomach. Zach? I tapped his shoulder.
Yeah?
The creature's back.
What the fuck?
Zach looked behind us and at the looming shadow. He screamed at Captain Earl.
Get to the fucking island, you drunk!
At first, I had no idea what Zach was talking about, but then I spotted a small island about a mile away from us in the distance. The shore was covered with rough patches of sand, and a thick forest loomed ahead, deeper into the island. The boat went into full throttle, and we almost used up every ounce of gas we had left in the tanks. We were about 200 meters from the island shore when the Gulper lifted its head and roared so loud my eardrums bled a little. But it was nothing compared to when I shot the elephant rifle with no ear protection. Then it started to pursue us, which was scary as hell, since the Gulper's movements alone sent gigantic waves everywhere. It was pretty fast if you ask me, but based on the distance between the island and us, the speed at which we were going at, we would make it. Hopefully. The boat covered the 200-meter distance between us and the island, with the Gulper chasing us 600 meters away. We quickly beached our boat and got onto the shore, just as the Gulper eel crashed its enormous head onto the shore, trying to bite the boat and missing it. We almost didn't get out of the way before the Gulper's head crashed onto the shore, sending a huge shockwave through the air. It seemed as if crashing its lower jaw onto the island hurt it, and that gave me a Vietnam flashback when Kyle had smashed my jaw onto the ground back in middle school. After 5 minutes of us firing high-caliber weapons and explosives into its eyes, the Gulper slowly retreated into the water, lugging its massive body where it was deep enough to freely swim. Then Kyle stuck his middle finger at the creature. We finally realized that we were actually in some deep shit. We were stranded. Our boat was too damaged and out of fuel to stay afloat. We were stuck on an uncharted island, probably filled with Satan's spawn.
What the hell do we do now?
I asked Zach.
We're going to stay here, camp out, and stay until we see a boat or a plane. Then we can escape. We have enough supplies to last us a week and a half, so we'll be okay.
I sighed as the enormous ripples of the Gulper subsided.
As an ex-military private contractor and former Navy SEAL, I can professionally say that we are all going to fucking die,
Kyle said. That night, we stayed up, huddled close to a fire while eating MREs, which were just dried shit that passed the line that marked what was and what wasn't edible. Kyle thought otherwise. That night, we heard rustling just beyond the tree line. So, suicidal as ever, Zach and I checked it out. He drew his machete.
Roger.
I looked up.
What the hell do you want, Zach?
Get your gun.
You never even let me borrow a...
He sighed and tossed me a shotgun. I loaded the shotgun.
What the hell are we even doing?
We're going to investigate that sound. It's annoying as hell, and I want it to shut the fuck up.
My God, you would be the first to die in a horror movie.
I hunted monsters for around a decade, and I survived. What'd you have to say about that?
Fair enough. And is this kind of thing going to happen all day? We just outran a 12-mile-long gulper eel with tentacles, which shouldn't even be biologically possible.
I turned to Kyle, who was repeatedly punching Ben.
Hey,
I said,
we're going to investigate that weird sound over there in that extremely suspicious, deadly, and unexplored forest. When I find your mangled and bloody bodies, I'll color your gravestone rainbow so people think you're fucking gay!